Different families have different traditions. One that many have in common is to pass down special food recipes. Well, there's a family in Northeast Ohio that has made it a successful tradition to pass along very special recipes to you. The Sandridge Food Corporation has been doing that now for generations. And as Sarah Taylor shows us, this is not the food business as usual.
If you've been to a family gathering or a picnic recently, there's a good chance you had a visit from Grandma. This Grandma, I mean. Grandma's salads are best sellers for Sandridge Food Corporation here in Medina. Celebrating its 50th year, this family-owned business has built a recipe for success. One big reason? Here, it's not business as usual.
We've got the new packaging being done here.
Meet the Sandridge family. Mark is the company's CEO. His sister Tony and his son Jordan work together in the transportation division. His brother Mike and his other son Dane work in sales.
I'm very lucky to work with my family. My family is very important to me. We run it as a business, even though a lot of us are family members, but we expect everybody to toe the line and do their jobs. And it's been very, very good, very rewarding. I think our father would be extremely proud of us all, and that we were able to take it to the next level.
Vincent Sandridge started the business in 1960 in Cuyahoga Falls. He was new to the area, coming from West Virginia, fresh out of the Army. He decided he wanted to work for himself. His children helped with the business as they grew.
Our father was very, very difficult. There are no excuses, as well as my brother. There are no excuses with him. Very result-oriented people. And they push you and push you. But, you know, it's an honor to be here. And, you know, my brother always says, you're here to stay if you want, but it's your decision. So you kind of scratch your head, well, yeah, I kind of want to stay.
I'm emotionally attached to this company. My father, now my brother, we're all a big family-oriented company and a big family. I mean, we have our disagreements, and, family dynamics are like that at all times. But it's a legacy that you can't not be proud of. And when your name is associated with something like this, it just makes you really proud. And you come to work every day going, I need to do something to make it even better.
They've certainly done that. When Mark bought the company in 1997, Sandridge, which had moved to Medina, had 60 employees and 75 to 100 products.
Hey, Billy, how are you?
Today they employ 450 and offer some 500 products.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, especially during this time when you're looking at the recessionary period that we're going through. Their expansions have been significant. I mean, it helps maintain the level of employment in the city. And that's exciting. Not only it gives hope to other businesses.
Well, it's been a lot of work, okay, but we've got a great management team, and we've spent a lot of time studying the consumer, and we try to solve problems for that consumer, and we've been pretty good at it. We've listened well and presented products that fix things for the operators.
Besides Grandma's potato salad, Sandridge makes a wide variety of other salads and slaws, soups and chili, which they sell both directly to consumers and also to national chain restaurants and other outlets. The company is always striving to stay ahead of the curve. They take an annual trip to Europe, England, and Belgium mainly, where Mark says food manufacturing is about 10 years ahead of the U.S.
Now, people in Europe are into fresh. They want real natural ingredients and wholesome products.
Do you think that's the way we're headed?
We definitely are.
Mark has been recognized as a visionary, and with its most recent expansion, he's taking Sandridge straight into the future.
So welcome to the HPP Center.
HPP stands for High Pressure Processing.
HPP allows us to do two things. It kills all the bacteria in the product, so all the harmful bacteria that you're well aware of, the Listeria and E. coli and Salmonella, it destroys those products or those bacteria and produces a very clean product for the consumer, so you don't have the chance of recalls.
How does it do that? With cold water and high pressure.
It's 87,000 psi in there, and what happens is because it's equal pressure, it doesn't actually compress anything. So you can put a grape tomato in there, okay, you can put beans in there, you can put different things in there, and it doesn't change the texture of it all. But the bacteria doesn't like pressure. So what happens is it pressurizes the bacteria, and the cell walls are so flimsy that it blows up and destroys the bacteria.
Taking out the bacteria does something else.
Do you notice the taste difference?
Yes, because you don't have to put all the chemicals in there and acids in there to, when I say acids, vinegars and stuff to acidify things to help them be preserved. So now you get to make product that you wouldn't make at home in an industrial environment.
When you go out and as a salesman and talk about this HPP, how well is that being received?
Oh, it's open arms.
It's just the latest innovation at a family company that's become much more than a mom-and-pop operation.
And I firmly believe other family companies, they hand it over, and the second or third generation will lose the company. Well, we're not going to. And we've embraced our third generation family, and I think we'll be fine.
Sandridge is currently working on new packaging so that Grandma's potato salad can go through the high-pressure processing. So by next spring, look for a preservative-free version of this old favorite. In Medina, I'm Sarah Taylor for Western Reserve PBS.
Are you not doing business as usual? Then email us at neotropolis.org. Tell us how you're changing your business, organization, or government agency to compete in the new economy, and who knows, you could be starring on Neotropolis, Not Business as Usual. So we took a look at a fresh food production process from a microeconomic point of view. Now we talk with experts in the field for a macroeconomic perspective, or what we like to call fly-eye economics.
With over 4,000 lenses, the eyes of a common housefly are among the most complex in the insect world.
With us tonight, our panelist Jay Simicek, Program Coordinator with the Business Succession Planning Program of the Ohio Employee Ownership Center, a nonprofit outreach center at Kent State University. Dr. Barbara Schul, Associate Professor of Hospitality Management at Kent State University. And Jeffrey Gross, a consultant and author of Workforce Planning, a 90-day action plan handbook. Folks, thanks so much for being on our panel here this evening. Dr. Schul, we'll start with you first. It seems the food industry, more than perhaps other industries, has more family-oriented businesses. If in fact that's the case, and you can think of Schmuckers and Bob Evans and Oscar Mayer and on and on, if in fact that is the case, does that affect their mode of operation, their operational methodology?
I think it probably varies with the family, but I think one of the things you see with family businesses, and we have a close association with the Schwebel Baking Company, that's also a family business, and there's such a closeness and a commitment because what they do into the future ties back to that father, as we heard in the story tonight, or to the grandparent or whoever, and there's this emotional connection to the building, to the business.
They really want to maintain a hold on that,
Absolutely.
Don't they? The family business, perhaps more reluctant or resistant to new technology or change, in that they go with a theme, well, it's grandma's old recipe. Is that the case or no?
The companies that I've known, I would say that's not been the case because, again, I think they're very forward-looking and they don't want to do anything to damage the business. They want to have that business for their children, for their grandchildren, and so forth. The thing I've noticed that sometimes is a little bit tricky is bringing in that next generation and having it be that next generation's choice to join the company and how they might fit into the company.
Well, that leads into my next question for Jeff, and that statistics show that maybe less than a third of family-owned businesses are passed on to the second and third generations. You find that to be the case, and why might that be?
Absolutely, Jim. And one of the major reasons that happens is between generations 2 and generations 3 is the individuals that are part of the business itself. The challenge for that group is, did they pick up and inherit all of the different pieces that you were talking about that were important? So one of the issues that they find that are successful in businesses that go beyond generation 3 and into generation 4 is this pride of ownership that you did see, and every single individual in the segment discussed, I was really happy to be part of this. I love being part of the family. I love carrying on to the tradition. Well, that changes then if that's not carried on into to the next generation.
I would agree that the pride and the passion that we saw in the video clip, expressed by Tony especially, who was the sister. I believe there are 5 family members working in the business, which is remarkable. And those 5 family members are actually 3 generations, so they're into the 3rd generation. I think there are real challenges in accomplishing that successfully. We deal with small businesses across the state of Ohio that are planning for succession to the next generation. Passing it through the family may be one of those options, but it may not be one of those options. And if it is, one of the key issues is management succession, okay?
It is.
And often, the perception of the other employees in the company can get tangled up in the family, okay? Because, hey, it's tough to evaluate objectively a family member in terms of a leadership position or management position.
Yeah. 2 points of interest. One, there was a study done that showed between '97 and 2009, the actual performance of family businesses was 2 to 3% higher than the peer group in the S&P. And that in itself makes them attractive for outside interests to come in and try to acquire them. So one of the ways that they stop that, and I think you probably found this, Jay, is that the succession planning becomes focused on a meritocracy. So the individuals who do become the leaders are selected specifically because they have the capabilities to go on and lead to that next generation. So this heir situation that comes up, just, oh, the next senior son is the one that's going to run the business, if that's the case, then they're vulnerable. But if they create this meritocracy tied to something I found fascinating was this family council that creates a different structure. So in generations 4 and 5 and on, in long-term companies, that family structure now makes it so awkward and so difficult to pry out all of that stock. So if you see, for instance, Ford has all the B shares, that it makes it really difficult to acquire those. So that's the gap, is can you get from 2 to 3? Yep. And those guys, I think, sound awesome on what they're proposing.
How important is it for us to have family-owned companies, specifically to the food industry? Is that a big deal, or no?
I think the importance of family-owned businesses is critical. I mean, 80% of the enterprises in North America are said to be family-owned or significantly family-owned. So I think it was Mike, the brother, made a comment right near the end of the clip that I was really impressed with. He talked about hand it over. Yes. You use that term, hand it over. And that term really is all about succession planning. And his comment, I believe, was something like, we know of family-owned businesses who hand it over and then they fail. Okay, they don't make it. Yeah. Well, he's right, and the statistics you quoted really are probably less than reality. 70% of family businesses don't make it to the second generation, and 88% don't make it to the 3rd. So they're already in the minority, even though the majority of businesses are family-owned.
And I would fully agree with Jay. The issue isn't necessarily the food connection with the family businesses, right, because I mean, there's been like 30% of the S&P are identified as family businesses. So it's a critical part of the economy in general.
Challenges for the food industry in the coming decade of federal regulation, consumer habits and spending. Would those fit under that umbrella and perhaps others?
Well, I think what we saw in this, they talked about the high pressure processing. And what we are seeing with today's consumers, they're looking at the issues of natural, of avoiding preservatives, of having that home cooked item that maybe they are busy, they're running from one thing to another and don't want to do that home cooked item. And I think the high pressure processing is very well suited to that need, and I think it was helpful that they have moved forward in that direction. I think will be a nice competitive edge for them. But in the industry, consumers are wanting that. They're wanting to be able to read the label and not see the ingredients that help preserve, and it's a very natural way to do that.
It fits into this green concept very nicely. I was very impressed, weren't you, with the process and how they're doing it? One of the significant complexities that I see for that company, though, is this volume of employees, 450 employees, there's 500 different products they're representing. I'm not sure what you see. I mean, is that pretty standard in that size of a business?
I think it probably varies to some degree with the business, but obviously one has to be careful. You want enough of a product base, but on the other hand, you don't want to splinter yourself so far that you have trouble managing that aspect.
Sure. Yeah. Barbara's right about the move toward healthy food. I was recently involved in a study at the center, which was funded by the USDA. Okay, we're a rural cooperative development center, one of the few in the country. And our mission is to develop linkages between rural farmers and the inner city food sellers, okay? And that is an increasingly significant part of marketing food products today.
Yes. We only have just maybe a half a minute, but we learned in the story that Europe is way ahead of us in food processing and production. Is that an issue for us? Is that something that we have to catch up to, or are we doing fine as we are? We don't have much time, but if somebody wants to touch on that.
I frankly was a little surprised by that comment. I think we can always look somewhere else and feel they're ahead of us. I think there are many things that we're doing in the States, but again, what you saw here is the willing to make the financial commitment to move forward with that technology.
Very good. Folks, thanks so much for being with us this evening. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but you did a great job. Thank you again.
Thanks for being here.